Hello and welcome everyone. As Christina mentioned in her video, I will be covering the guidelines, facilitation, and implementation of blended learning. If this is your first blended learning video, it is important to address what is blended learning and what does it look like. The blended learning communities meet both face-to-face and in online learning environments. The rationale is that both face-to-face and online learning offer a variety of ways for students to complete research, conduct discussion, and work collaboratively. By providing both, students are able to excel in an environment that best fits their needs. The real and virtual educational worlds are tied together through technology, usually in the form of a learning management system similar to Canvas. An online learning management system provides a common space for students to virtually convene. Course documents, lectures, and grades can be uploaded by the course instructor for students to access. Additionally, learning management systems also provide spaces for students to submit their assignments, engage in class discussions, and virtually meet in small groups. As an educator, you probably have a lot of questions, like, what does this look like for you? Are you managing and planning 2 separate classes? What does each environment even look like? Both face-to-face and online communities must establish a community of inquiry, as described by Christina in the previous presentation. To help establish the community, it is recommended to follow a 4-step process. That is, before the face-to-face sessions, which happen online, face-to-face sessions, which are in person, after face-to-face sessions, online, and preparation for the next face-to-face session, also online. Before face-to-face sessions are used to plant seeds for the face-to-face sessions. This could include any online learning activities such as readings, icebreakers, online surveys, or discussion forums. The before face-to-face sessions gear up and set the stage for the next step in the sequence, which are the face-to-face sessions. It is important to note that face-to-face sessions are no longer used for information transmission, such as lecturing, but instead become opportunities to diagnose student misconceptions, foster critical dialogue, and support peer instruction. Teachers can use information gathered from the online activities completed prior to the class meeting to inform their instructional activities for students to complete in person. This may include a debriefing of an online activity, anonymous survey or quiz, diving into a mini case study, or further applications of online material. It is recommended that face-to-face sessions end with a discussion to establish student responsibilities and action items for the online environment. Next in the cycle is the after the face-to-face session. These are opportunities for students to reflect, make connections, and respond on previous discussions. This could take the form of an online discussion moderated by a student or the completion of a learning log. The after the face-to-face sessions somewhat blend into the 4th part of the cycle, which is preparation for the next face-to-face session. Once the online and face-to-face environment has been established, deeper learning activities such as individual or small group projects can be completed in conjunction with reviewing and obtaining information for the next face-to-face session. And so the cycle continues. Now that you're familiar with the format and facilitation of the blended learning classroom environment, you might want to give it a try. You also might be thinking, where do I even get started? Or, how might this change the course that I'm teaching? It is suggested that the transition to a blended learning environment take place over several years. Additionally, because instructors face a lot of decisions about how and where content will be delivered and discussed, it is encouraged for teachers who teach the same coursework to work together in a professional learning community to make the transition. Instructors might find that adopting the blended learning environment will cause their course to go more in depth into specific topics rather than covering a large span of concepts. For this reason, it is important for instructors working in the professional learning community to agree upon specific learning objectives for the course. Because it's difficult to find common times for working professionals to meet, another suggestion is that these teachers can collaborate on the course transition in their own blended learning environment. This gives instructors the first-hand experience with the blended environment in which they're asking their students to learn. The finished product will have clear content objectives for both in-person and virtual meetings, and common assignments and assessments. Our third team member, Will, is going to go over assessments in greater depth in his installment of our presentations. Maybe you're still skeptical. Perhaps you're thinking that your class is too large, too small, too lecture-based, or too student-centered for this classroom model. Maybe you love your long lectures and the thought of giving them up is unsettling. In the text, Blended Learning in Higher Education gives specific examples of project-based learning classes, chemistry classes that require labs, nursing classes that require fieldwork, and writing and philosophy courses that all use blended learning environments. All of these examples reported a lower withdrawal rate and higher levels of student engagement. I think the important thing for an instructor to note is that blended learning is one way to remove the teacher as being the sole source of information for the classroom. This opens up opportunities for students to take ownership of their learning and for the teacher to engage and scaffold as necessary. Thank you for your time. Will is going to be explaining the importance of assessment in the blended learning classroom environment and the future of blended learning.